Find your first freelancing clients. This video is about finding your first freelancing clients. These are the tips that I've learned over the past couple years as a freelancer working on and off of freelancing sites. At the same time that this video goes live, I'm also going to be dropping a video about how I found my first freelancing clients, which I did go through a couple of phases in my learning journey. And so you won't necessarily see the same things I did showing up here because I didn't do what I recommend to you at first. But if you're curious, that video will be linked up here and in the description below because it was my most requested topic. That being said, let's get started, not with what I did in the beginning, but with what I recommend you do if you're just getting started with freelancing. The first thing I would recommend when you're looking to find your first freelancing client is to brand yourself. Now, this is not something I did right away. It's not something that should suck you into paralysis analysis or analysis paralysis. Simply focus on one, finding a way people can work with you off of the freelancing platforms, and two, finding a way to showcase who you are and what you can do. Future Sammy cutting in quick to clarify that yes, branding can mean so many things, but here I'm just talking about a name for your company, which could be video editing by Sammy, but with your name. Some colors, fonts, and a logo just to keep your visuals consistent, and if you can, a why or a niche, a specific focus. Sure, you're a copywriter, but do you focus on a specific type of people? You're a photographer, but there's so many different types of photography. What kind do you focus on? Don't get too intricate with all of this. Make a decision for now just to get it out there. You can change it in a couple weeks or months if you need to. All right, back to it. Two examples here. This is my UGC portfolio. I'm not really big on UGC, but I did want to put all of my pictures in one place for brands to check out if they were interested. So you can see I have all my content in one place for them to reference. If you want to make your portfolio in Google Drive, it is totally free to do so. You just need a Gmail account, which is free. Similarly, Google Forms are free. Here's an intake form that I started a long time ago. I have used Google Forms in the past for intaking new clients. You can customize your theme to add some branding. You can even get an email alert when someone fills out your form. What I find to be a better solution is ConvertKit. They do have a free plan for up to 1,000 subscribers, which if you're just starting out, that should be more than enough. Unlimited landing pages and forms. I actually dug into the archives and found one of my first ConvertKit landing pages, and it was just this one page. Here's who I am. I made a video. I put it on YouTube unlisted. This really helped people trust me, and then I would get an email whenever they submitted this form. This was huge to be able to point people off of the platform, so if they wanted to work with me a little cheaper, I didn't have to pay the fees. Even just the fact that I had this free landing page set up just showed people I was a little more professional than the average freelancer on Fiverr. They were impressed by it, even though it only took me like a couple of hours to create. And for anyone and everyone that does stay on the platform, get reviews. This was insanely huge for my growth. As you can see, I just have pages and pages of people saying that they enjoyed working with me. I even have a couple people repeatedly saying that they've enjoyed working with me. I worked with those clients every single week and they still made reviews for me. This increases trust for new clients who want to work with you. It shows them that you're a real person and that you do good quality work. Now that you've branded yourself a little bit, and really just a little bit, do not go too crazy with this because it does not have to take weeks and weeks and months and years. If it takes you days, that's okay. I'll give you days. But hours or minutes honestly probably works too. Now that you've branded yourself a little bit and made it really easy for people to funnel right to you, right? They have a way to contact you, they can see your stuff. Even if it's a simple, easy process, that's fine. Now that that's done, I want you to split your energy between connections and applications. First, let's talk about connections. So you need to build relationships and you need to share about what you are doing online. I know, none of those things are probably comfortable, right? Not for me either. And I'm an extrovert. I don't know, it's just kind of scary sometimes. Don't be afraid to reach out to people that you think are doing cool things. Interact with what they got going on. You don't even have to ask for anything. You're not necessarily cold selling here. Without being creepy, make sure that they know you exist. Comment on their stuff. Interact when they have a poll. Give them a good old compliment. You don't need to do this with every post that they make. In fact, it might seem a little weird or over the top if you do, but you just need to show up in their line of sight and show up often. And all of this is done while it is very clear what you do and how people can work with you, right? You've got some verbiage saying what you do in your title, in your bios, on whatever accounts you're using to reach out, on a business card, and you've got some contact information or an application link if that feels better. The point of that is when their eyes come across what you are doing, what you are saying, the fact that you're interacting with what they have going on, and they say, "Who is this again?" They can figure out very quickly who you are and what you have to offer. So this is maybe an okay first step with the connections you're building on and offline, but we're gonna push it a step further. And even if you're not gonna cold sell to them right away, I would suggest that you reach out to them, especially your personal network, and ask, hey, do you know of anybody who needs some help with XYZ, copywriting, graphics design, video editing? I'm just starting out and I'm really trying to build my portfolio. Or maybe you have a portfolio and you can say, I've got a portfolio, but I'm looking to build my experience. Or maybe you just say, do you know anyone who needs help with this? I'm doing more of it. Or I'm just starting out. Whatever you want to say. The point is that you are digitally extending your hand and saying, hey, I've got this thing, this offer, this skill, whatever it is, and I would like to share it. Do you know anyone who can shake my hand? That doesn't really work. Some people think this is kind of a cheesy tactic, but it's effective. You're not being spammy and you're not trying to be sneaky. You're literally asking if they have any connections. And while you're doing that, you're also telling this person, whether it's someone you admire, someone doing something cool, someone in your network, or just someone that you think might know someone, you're letting them know what you're doing. You're putting it out there into the universe. This is what I want to do more of. Do you know anyone I can help? Maybe you can help them. If not, that's okay too. Maybe they'll give you a name. And if they give you that name, maybe they'll give you a referral. And even if they don't give you the referral, you can say to the person when you reach out to that person, hey, this person told me that you might be interested in what I have to offer. Would you like to chat? Get your foot in the door. It starts a conversation. Outreach, outreach, outreach. Just keep reaching out, and it is a muscle. It feels super awkward at first, but it's gonna get better over time. And if you have no clients, what have you got to lose? You need to find some. So build those connections up as fast, as efficiently as you can. And remember, that's only half of where your energy is being split, right? We're also splitting our energy with applications. So let's talk about that. So applications. The beautiful thing about applications, especially when you're already used to connecting with people and just like trying to find people cold off the internet, is that the people you are applying to are already looking for something you can help them with. You're not asking if they have work or if you can help them with something that they might have not thought of yet. They literally have thought of it and they put it out there in the universe, in the world, saying, hey, can anybody help me with this? So that's going for you, right? And so you need to apply and apply pretty hardcore, probably in the beginning. And friendly reminder, you may not work for your ideal client on day one. Actually, you probably won't have your ideal client as your first client. Maybe you will, and that would be awesome. Maybe you'll work with someone you never expected working with on a project you never thought you'd be doing for payment that you never thought you'd do work for. But you just gotta begin, you gotta start with those connections. I'm not saying work for pennies necessarily and just respect your time, but in the beginning, it just might not be ideal, and you gotta get over that phase. That phase might take some months. Now, a good thing to look at before you actually start putting out all those applications, especially if you're using a freelancing profile, a freelancing site, is to make sure your profile is set up. So let's go look at that. Personally, I do still recommend Upwork for new freelancers. I still use Upwork from time to time when I want to fill in some gaps. There are a ton of solid and professional clients on Upwork, and Upwork is improving its own interface and its own abilities every single month. To show you some tips for Upwork, I'm going to show you someone that I've done work with multiple times over. Ivan is an expert motion graphic designer. He's a freelancer on Upwork whom I have worked with multiple times. I'd highly recommend, and I'm going to link his profile in the description below. The first thing I'm going to suggest to you is, just like Ivan, fill out your account. That means you have a title, you have your rate, you have all this description about what you can do. You're kind of selling people on these different things. Don't be afraid of using emojis. Space it out. Don't make this like 20 paragraphs. After I scroll past all his reviews, you can see what's in his portfolio, his skills. These are important because as people post jobs, they connect these jobs with skills, and you want your skills to connect with those jobs. If you have any history related to what you are going to be doing on Upwork, share that. Again, this just increases trust with people as they come across your profile. Upwork is really flexible, so you can add other experiences, you can add education, and of course you want to add a good quality photo of yourself so people can get to know your face. You can also add that video we talked about earlier on your Upwork profile. Side note, your video can point people to apply to the link that is off Upwork if you want to avoid those fees, which technically is not allowed, but it is possible if you're interested. Please think about your niche with this title. This is so huge because if Ivan just put graphic designer, everyone has that in their title. Try to be unique, try to even be specific of the type of graphic design you like to do, the type of video editing or copywriting you like to do. This is gonna catch the attention of the people who want to work with a specific kind of animator or a specific kind of graphic designer, an expert motion graphic designer. If you're not really sure what you wanna focus on, you can also just do some work as a graphic designer and then see what kind of jobs you're getting more of, see what kind of jobs you like more of, see what kind of clients pay more maybe, and then niche down within that. This is something you can A/B test too, so give it a week or a month with one title, and if it's not working for you, if you want to try something else, just change it and see what happens. You can find Upwork fees on their website. They do change from time to time. Right now it's at 10% for a freelancer service fee on any money you make on Upwork. It used to actually be more. People could find this really discouraging about Upwork. Another thing that could be really discouraging about Upwork is just the the vast amount of people that are applying to jobs, it can be really hard to make a name for yourself. It can be really hard to get picked at first. I would personally recommend that you fight volume with volume, okay? If there are a lot of people applying to each gig, you might have to apply to a lot of gigs in order to get one. If I search video editing here and I look for jobs posted about video editors or video editing, you'll see one 28 minutes ago, 34 minutes ago, 44 minutes ago, 51 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 1 hour, 1 hour. There are a ton of jobs out there on Upwork. You just need to start applying. I would recommend you vary your applications. You can use different rates and see what gets picked up. You can change up this cover letter and see what works. I actually did a whole analysis on which of my applications got picked up or got responded to, and I looked at my cover letters to see if there were any similarities. And usually I asked some kind of question in the beginning to prompt a response, something I didn't quite understand from their post and I needed more information about. I would also very quickly introduce how I can help their specific project. I made that sentence or two custom, but I kept it really short. And then almost every single time I linked that video intro of myself and I gave a longer spiel about how I help people, where they can find my portfolio, how they can work with me off the platform, or how we can stay on the platform if they prefer. But vary this space, change up this cover letter from time to time to see what works. You can change your hourly rate. You're not going to get paid what you want probably on your first client, and if your rate is way too high, maybe you've got 75, maybe you've got 175, but you don't have any experience on Upwork, you might have to lower that a bit to start. And maybe 175 seems absolutely wild to you and you're like, I won't even put 45 there yet. That's fine. If you need to start at 15 or 20 or 25 or 10, if you really want to go there, do what you need to do to get those first few gigs, to get that experience, to build your portfolio. And I would recommend drafting out more of a generic section of your cover photo that you can put in Google Docs and copy and paste, but you only put that in after you've already maybe asked that initial question and you've told them, in a sentence or two how you can help with their specific project or how you're excited about XYZ within their project. Because as someone who has hired people on Upwork, it is the most annoying thing to look through a ton of candidates who just copy and pasted all of their responses. I think a little bit of copy and paste is fine if you're explaining details that can be explained over and over again, but you really want to kick off on a personalized custom basis, and that doesn't have to take a long time. You can still apply to dozens and dozens of jobs each and every day. Another way you can step out and show some extra effort to the clients you're trying to impress is by making a Loom video. This is literally what a Loom video looks like, by the way, just a little picture of yourself with your computer screen. And look at the starter. I'm using the free platform right now to record this. You can do videos up to 5 minutes for free, and if you wanted to pay a little bit more for a business version, it's not that much more. Introduce yourself to that specific candidate. Make a video for each one. You don't have to do it for everyone, but for the ones you really want to try to land, you could mock up some outlines or explain your proposal. You want to set yourself apart, show them you care, show them why you're impressed with what they're doing and how you can get involved, how you can be beneficial to them. And honestly, I know people are pretty against free, not necessarily free software like using Loom, but doing things for free, completing work for free, and I get that. But if you're not getting any gigs, you're not landing any bids, it might be time to just give some of your skills away for free. You can add it to your portfolio later. Maybe they'd recommend you. Maybe they'd be willing to write you a great review in exchange for the content that you created for them for free. You don't have to go overboard and give them weeks and weeks of your lives, but show your worth and get some experience any way that you have to. You can do this by creating some fake work just to showcase that you can do what you do. But if you're going to do that anyway, you're going to create something that isn't necessarily going to be used, why not make sure it is used? Connect with a company that you're really impressed by. Share some value, start those connections. They're gonna remember that creator that gave them free content. Now you are ready to apply and just apply, rapid fire apply, be bold in your applications. Some people I found online recommend like 100 reach outs every single day. I can't fathom that. I don't necessarily think it has to be 100, and I don't necessarily think it has to be the same number every day or any arbitrary number, but it might be more than you walked into this video thinking it would be. You might have to push yourself a bit. You will probably have to push yourself a bit. And get creative with where you're finding these jobs to apply to as well. Of course, Upwork and Fiverr, well, mostly Upwork, I definitely recommend. There would be days when I just would rapid fire to jobs on Upwork, which is not as cheap to do anymore. They changed their fee structure a little bit, but there are still a lot of great jobs on Upwork. I just started a new job with a new client this week. They're doing super cool things and willing to pay me very well for a project that I enjoy, so it still works. But don't sleep on Indeed, don't sleep on LinkedIn. You can apply to a ton of jobs on LinkedIn and filter your search results. You can also apply to jobs in Facebook groups. There are a ton of very large and medium and small Facebook groups for all sorts of online niches that you might be able to help someone out. And I'm not saying spam the groups, but keep an eye out because people will post and be like, hey, I need a copywriter, or hey, I need a virtual assistant, does anyone know anyone? You've got your portfolio, you've made it clear on your profile and your account what you are doing and how you can help people. Show up and apply. Some of my long-term clients are just because I responded to a Facebook post. It works. Alternatively, you could be posting in these Facebook groups. Now, again, please don't spam them, please read the rules. I don't want you to get kicked out of these groups. A lot of them are very strict. But if you need some more experience and you just want to throw it out there that, hey, I'm going to be doing a little bit more graphic design. Does anybody have some projects they could throw my way? Does anyone know of anybody looking for work in XYZ area? You could offer a discount or a starting rate, or you could just show up as is and just say, here are my rates. What do you got for me to do? And here's my probably most important tip of this entire video. Please don't be shy about stepping out and going the distance. That's a Disney quote, right? Take an extra effort to set yourself apart. One of my highest paying clients to date was because of a long shot I took at an influencer I had been following for years and just admiring their content. And they posted one day thinking about maybe hiring someone for what I do, video editing. Yo, within like 12 hours of seeing that video, I had created my own edited video that I filmed, a montage I made, talking about how I saw his post and how cool it would be to work with him and how much we have in common and how much I admire all the things he does. I just put myself out there, took that extra effort, took a long shot, it happened really quick, and it worked, and I'm so proud of that. And I'm so happy it happened. Not just for the money, which is great, but just knowing that I was a part of something that like I would have been fangirling over. Like, I'm just so proud of that experience. The people you see online are real people, right? They're on the other end of that screen, and sometimes they need help too, and maybe they'll need help with what you're doing. So whether you think they're super cool or not, it doesn't hurt to reach out. And please don't forget, whatever kind of work you are doing, whether it is free work just to get started, or it is easy, simple work, or work you didn't expect, or huge work, whatever it is, get those reviews. Ask for referrals. Get a couple of lines from someone. If you're on a freelancing platform, they usually make it pretty easy for people to give reviews, but you might have to remind them so they actually take that step, and then it goes on your profile and everybody can see it. Super impressive. You can also just get some verbiage from someone. If you're feeling really bold, you could get a video review from someone and make a little montage for your site, but just get that review, especially when the project is fresh in their mind and they're still like, wow, this was incredible. This was such a great experience. Because if you ask 6 months down the road and you haven't talked to them since, they might not remember who you are. And if you want to work with this person again, ask them if they have other work or any other referrals that they can point you to someone else in their circle that you might be able to help. In my other video where I'm talking about how I got my first freelancing clients, I talk about getting people off of those freelancing platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. I wouldn't even stress yourself to worry about that yet, because it does take a little bit of tact to do it without getting flagged by the profiles and just to make people feel comfortable enough to do that. And honestly, your account needs more reviews in the beginning. Before people are going to be willing to work with you off platform, they want to probably see that you've done some work on the platform, people trust you, they've got good things to say about your work. And for a lot of people, they're just going to have more trust if the platform is in the middle. And if you're not familiar with that process, the client actually gives the platform their money, and then the platform doesn't give you the money until the client approves the work. The client has already lost their money, right? It's with the freelancing platform, but you don't actually get it until you do the work. So it's a little safer for them than if you were to bill them before you did any work and they don't even know if they can trust you yet. It's also a little safer for you if you don't know if the client is going to be good for their money and you're not invoicing them until after the work is complete. So I just recommend you get used to the platform first. Don't stress yourself out, don't stress other people out, just build that trust, gain those reviews. Please don't forget that once you get that first client, it's like this beautiful building block, okay? Even if the experience was super negative, you learned something, right? And so it's gonna be easier to get that next client. I don't think it's going to be negative, but I'm just saying, like, whether it goes great or whether it doesn't, it's okay. You're building experience, and the next client's gonna be easier and easier and easier to get, or at least you're going to have more and more skills to work from, including the skill of just getting a client to begin with. That's what I would recommend for finding your first client. If you wanna see what I did, check the video below. And if you have other freelancing questions or entrepreneurial related questions, I would love to hear them so I know what videos to make next. Comment below, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.